Namaste, Jai Maa Kamakhya, Jai Bhairava Baba, Jai Matara. So today in this video I will be speaking about the upcoming Gupta Navaratri that is coming in the month of January 2026. I think starting from 19th of January. The exact starting and end dates and all details will be mentioned in the description by the team. So this Navaratri, Gupta Navaratri, during this particular one, as most of you would be aware that there are two major Navaratris that we have, and there are other Gupta Navaratris which is more inclined towards private upasana of Devis, whereas the major Navaratris are more geared towards public worship of various forms of Devis, or the what is known as the collective worship for that matter. So in this Gupta Navaratri, it is a very fantastic time for worship of Kamakhya, simple upasana of Maa Kamakhya. And I'm going to tell you that a practice that you or anybody who has been following my videos can do. So Kamakhya, among all the various forms of the Divine Mother, is fundamentally Nirakar. The current Paddhati of puja that happens in Kamakhya Pitha is perhaps a few centuries old. There is, in fact, there are old documents and old references which mention that perhaps much earlier than that, there used to be some other method of worship. So Kamakhya is so ancient that it is actually more ancient than even the texts. When the texts came into existence, when the tantras and the other Vedic scriptures came into existence, in the sense that when they were written down in that condition, I'm not talking about the oral transmission, but the written down condition, Kamakhya is even older than that. So it's a very ancient source of power. And we as humans, as upasakas, we follow one or the other methods of connecting to that. So there are many methods of Kamakhya Upasana. There is some that is formally done by the priests, then there are others which are present through other means or other sampradayas that they may be following. All of them are fine in their own way, because at the end they are trying to reach Maa Kamakhya, though each one is slightly unique and has its own pros and cons. The sadhana that I will mention here is something that anybody can do. It does not require any diksha, it does not require any formal knowledge of tantric practices. Uh, Something that is more useful for people, for masses, cannot be something that is too esoteric or too exotic, or that requires too many checks and balances, or individualistic. We are actually entering, and in fact enter into a state where it is important that, while of course there are upasakas who may have great esoteric and specialized knowledge which they can carry forward in their own ways of sadhana, which is wonderful, but there is also the necessity to bridge the gap of how to approach these devatas in a manner in which it is accessible to a lot of people. This is the time when these changes have to come into existence, because as such all the so-called hidden and esoteric tantras are already out in public. Not just now, it has been there for at least a century, if not more. I mean, books have been published. It's easily available for anybody to read, whether you are in a library or in a bookstore, etc. This is quite unlike what used to happen in previous centuries, where these tantras were only passed down from the guru to his shishya, who becomes the guru, and there was no access to the text for a second or third person apart from or outside of the lineage. Today that's not the case. Everything is accessible, and this is the condition which is not going to change. So in this condition, it is important therefore to have those kind of practices which are relatively easier to do, and which can connect a large section of people to the energy of the deity. So keeping those things in mind, here is a very simple upasana of Maa Kamakhya. Anybody who has been again following uh, me or the WhatsApp channel, or what was previously the Telegram channel, would be aware that I have spoken of Kamakhya Upasana earlier as well, I think in the videos and other places. Simple upasanas of Maa Kamakhya, specifically the Kamakhya Stotra, which is kind of a base for Kamakhya Upasana, which can be done by others. So Kamakhya also has a strong link to Tara, by the way. If you go by the text, you will know that it was Rishi Vashishtha who first came to do Upasana of Mahamaya in Kamakhya, and once he did not succeed, so therefore he was instructed by a Daivavani to go to Mahachina and there learn the upasana of the same goddess, but using the tantric methods of the Panchamakara, and then he comes to Tarapit and succeeds in the sadhana using the Panchatattvas, which forms the foundation of Vamachar Tantra or Kola Tantra. So, in this sadhana, on the first day of the sadhana, you can establish a kalash or a Ghatasthapana. The exact method and steps will be written down and mentioned in the description or in the comments by my team. You can follow them. Uh, Doing a Ghatasthapana is a very simple and very effective process of sadhana. It increases the quality of sadhana because the Ghata that you are establishing is, in a way, an axis around which your consciousness will become steady on the deity. Which is why almost every puja normally advises the first step is somehow to establish a basic kalash or a ghata. But suppose you do not have the ability to do a Ghatasthapana, then even a photo of Maa Kamakhya would do. A photo of Maa Kamakhya is very useful. You can get it from the internet. Again, my team will have some of the images either through the video or posted down in the comment section. Uh, so, first step is you establish a ghata, then you invoke the deity in the ghat and the kalasha. For that, again, steps and everything will be mentioned. Light a simple diya. You can make it an akhanda diya also if you want for the period of 10 days, or you can light a diya every day when you sit for your sadhana. The preferred dress for the sadhana is red color. Preferred colored dress for the sadhana is red. You can either wear a kurta or whatever it is, but red is the ideal color. If not red, then you can try colors like saffron or yellow. These are the colors. Avoid black for this particular sadhana. So red, this color is very intricately linked to Devi Upasana and especially to Kamakhya. If you go there, you will see that, in fact, in Tantra Sadhana also, once the Tantric pujas are done, very often red is the preferred color of the Upasaka when doing the puja, especially those who have uh, a certain orientation and the Diksha that is required for actual Tantra Sadhana. So once you establish the ghata and you have the picture of Maa Kamakhya, offer very simple Naivedyam. It could be anything again, sweets are fine, or anything that you're preparing at home that is also all right to offer. Uh, Light the agarbatti. If possible, offer 5 flowers. If you do not have 5 flowers, then you offer at least 5 times you offer sindoor to the ghata or to the picture of Kamakhya, Devi Kamakhya that you have on your altar. 5 times. Either 5 flowers or 5 times you offer sindoor. And then you read the Kamakhya Stotram daily 9 times. Along with that, so 9 times you read the Kamakhya Stotram. After that, you chant a very simple mantra of Kamakhya. This is not actually a mantra in that sense with vijas or anything. This is more like a line that is used to do namaskara to Kamakhya. Kamakhya Kamasampannam Kameshwari Harapriye Kamanang Dehi Menityang Kameshwari Namastute. It's a very simple line that is used in Kamakhya as a way of doing namaskara to Kamakhya Devi, and we find this in various stutis of Kamakhya as well. So this specific line can also act as a mantra which has the right component of devotion. It invokes a certain devotion in the hearts of the Upasaka, and it avoids very complicated Bija mantras that will require Nyas and other things. So the idea is you chant this mantra 36 malas every day. 36 malas every day for a period of 10 days, starting from the first day of the Navaratri. Along with it, you do the Kamakhya Stotram 9 times. This sadhana can be done anytime. It can be done in the morning, it can be done at night. In fact, night is good if it's calmer, but avoid doing it after 12 o'clock at night. So, ideally, you can do it maybe after 8 or in the early morning. That is also perfectly all right to do. And offer Naivedyam, offer, there should be an agarbatti, diya, akhanda diya, normal diya, that is fine every day. Color of the dress should be red. If not red, then you can use saffron, the yellowish color. Avoid black. Repeating again here, which I had already mentioned. So 36 malas of the mantra has to be done. You can do it in a Draksh mala, or you can do it in a red Hakik mala. Red Hakik mala will produce a very strong effect if this mantra is correctly done. If not, then you can do it in a simple Rudraksh mala. After the 10 days are over, you need not take any complicated sankalpa. You can just do it for the anugraha and priti of Maa Kamakhya. My team will also mention the sankalpa in normal language. You can use this sankalpa, or you can even say the sankalpa in your own words. There's no necessity to have a completely formal sankalpa. Even then also it will start showing, this sadhana will have a strong effect. So after 10 days of sadhana are over, those who are capable of doing Homa, simple Homas, can do Homa with this mantra. Again, a Homa document will also be mentioned, simple Homa document for this, with this mantra. And then at the end of it, you have to visit any Devi temple nearby, light a diya, offer a coconut, offer some flowers, do a few malas of this mantra, and then give a puja to the Devi temple, mentioning that you have done the sadhana to the best of your abilities, and if there is any mistake on your part, knowingly or unknowingly, then that may be pardoned. And then you have to feed at least one little girl. Either if you can find somebody, if you can find a little girl, even giving one, uh, even a chocolate is good enough if you cannot provide a meal. Or you can contact, there may be NGOs or other organizations that look after underprivileged children, and you can offer them a meal, so this way. But one little girl has to be fed, because that completes the process. So little girls specifically are a symbol of Devi. So when you are into Devi Upasana, any Devi Upasana, then while doing an elaborate Kumari Puja is more difficult, an approximation for that is to feed a little girl, at least one little girl, and that gives you blessings of the deity very quickly. So that completes the whole process. Now, for somebody who does not know how to do Homa, there's no point in asking. You can skip that step. You can directly complete the 36 malas of the mantra every day for a period of 10 days, and then go to a Devi temple and then feed a girl, and that completes your sadhana. Those who want to visit Kamakhya after that, they may do so. That's up to them. But this sadhana, though it sounds very simple, is actually very effective, and you will quickly see, if done correctly, that it brings a state of bliss into the upasaka. Specifically, those who have who have done the Kamakhya stuti for long periods of time, at least, if not the mantras of Kamakhya. So Kamakhya has many mantras, by the way. It is not just one. I mean, on the internet, you will find various people suggesting various mantras of Kamakhya. Some of them have no basis on texts. I don't know how they became popular, but they're fine in their own way. Uh, the method in which actually formally the priests worship Maa Kamakhya is uh, taking her as a form of Tripur Sundari. There is also a different set of Kamakhya mantras, but that requires some guidance from a guru, because it produces very strong, very interesting energies. So I will not be mentioning those mantras in public. However, this specific sadhana with this particular line that I mentioned, the sloka, for example, which is actually a stuti of Kamakhya, pranama of Kamakhya, pranam mantra almost. It is not even a Bija mantra. Yet it is extremely powerful, extremely useful, and it can bring a strong meditative condition in an upasaka who has faith on Maa Kamakhya. So try this sadhana. Rest of the details regarding any further queries or details on this will be handled by my team. They will also mention the Ghatasthapana Paddhati as well as the Homa Paddhati for this. Once again, repeating that if you're not able to do the Homa, you can skip that. Don't need to fret about it. But the important thing is that you offer 5 flowers, or 5 times you offer sindoor, and rest of the steps, including the japa, including going to a temple of Devi close by and then feeding at least one girl, remains constant for everybody who does the sadhana, because that creates the completeness of the energy that you are generating, and that is how your blessings are actually going to come from the deity, and from Maa Kamakhya. So I hope this is useful for everybody. Jai Maa Kamakhya, Jai Bhairab Baba, Jai Matara.